Yeah, Humphrey BC on Reddit asks, when should I shift from build mode to growth mode? So some context around them here. His co-founder and he have been working since June of 2017 on a product. They're trying to figure out when to switch over into kind of high growth, focused on moving the platform forward.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty familiar to kind of where we are right now.
Yeah. See, this is an interesting conversation because the way that I think of it as a marketer and the way you think of it as a product person, we're probably going to disagree on the path. So I'd love to know, what do you think?
Yeah, I think you shift from build to growth whenever growth becomes something that you don't have to bug the engineering team about. So right now, like in build mode, you'd be onboarding customers. It's probably a manual process. So you're on the phone with somebody, setting up, onboarding them onto the platform, that sort of thing. I think growth mode can really be enabled when it becomes a process of filling out a form online, and then you spin up whatever, or you create their account on your platform and they're good to go, and you don't have to touch kind of the engineering resources. That's how I look at build versus growth.
Yeah, and I think it depends on what you're selling, the price point, the customer journey. There's a lot of unknowns in here that really matter. The details matter here. If you're selling a $20 product or a subscription, if you're a SaaS company, you're selling anything under $100 a month, you've got to have an automated sign-up. It does not make sense from an ROI perspective to have a sales team. And so you use engineers to build the assets, and then you test them. So you test landing pages, flows, emails. That's where growth marketing comes into play, is just testing and collecting a ton of data. If you're building larger software, so if you're building a higher price point, I think that the growth mode should start when it's a little uncomfortable to start it, because most great products go out of business because they weren't communicated correctly. I mean, there have been products that have solved so many issues, but the team was so relentlessly focused on building the best product, they never realized that they've got to go talk to people about it.
Yep.
And so I want to encourage you. Yes, you're right that you need to be able to grow without, either have the resources to where your engineering team is working on engineering, and then you have a sales and growth marketing team. But I also want to encourage you not to wait too long, because if you wait too long and you build the best product in the world, but you've not spoken to anyone about it, you're going to run out of money by the time that you believe the product is ready. And so it's a fine line, and just do both. Put out a piece of content about it, see and put out your V1 of your onboarding process, and then iterate from there.
Well, if you're not embarrassed by your MVP, it's not an MVP. Like if you have been building this since June of last year and it's a small SaaS product, you're probably going to release something that's overbuilt and polished, which is not terribly bad, but think about how many iterations you could have gone down the line if you would have released the instant you possibly can, and got that feedback from your customers.
Yeah, because when you're a little bit embarrassed, you're allowing the feedback to guide the roadmap, obviously with the input of your product lead and best practices. But you need customer feedback, because ultimately your customers are buying it, you're not.